everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the summer school book tag, which I was kindly tagged in by Angie from Literary Labors, who is also a teacher herself. I really enjoyed these questions. I had to really think about a lot of them, and it also revealed some gaps I have in my own reading, and it made me realize I need to read in some of these subjects that I haven't read very much in, so you'll see what I mean as we go. But the first question of the tag is language arts. Tell us about a book you were assigned to read in school. My senior year of high school, I had this wonderful English teacher who really kind of blew the lid off of my previous conceptions of what school reading could be. And for some reason, as 17-year-olds, he wanted to introduce us all to Murakami. And so we actually read Kafka on the Shore in our high school AP Lit class, which I, at the time, didn't probably fully appreciate how cool that was. But definitely looking back on it now, I can see how he was really a teacher who wanted to expand our horizons quite a bit. Previously, we had been mostly assigned classics up until I had this teacher, and he really just wanted us to be able to look at literature critically, and he wanted to teach us how to write about literature, and I just really appreciate that he used modern books to do that, because that was very unique. So wherever you are in the world, my high school English teacher from senior year, I don't know where he is. He's probably not teaching anymore because he was older when we had him, so he's probably retired by now. But if for some reason you see this video, I just want to say thank you. The next question says, math. When will I ever use this again? I resonate with that very much. I hated math. It was my least favorite subject in school all the way through. As soon as I could stop taking a math class, I did. And for this question, you're supposed to share a book where the characters use some math skills. And for that one, I'm going to go with The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. This is a young adult / middle grade mystery novel. And there's actually a lot of word riddles in this book as well. But there's a little bit of the characters having to do math. There's money involved in their challenge. The premise of this book is that a man dies and he leaves behind a bunch of clues to a bunch of different people who were kind of connected to him and also kind of only loosely connected to him. And so part of the book is figuring out how all these people are connected to him. But he leaves these clues for specific people so that they can inherit the house that he's left behind and inherit his fortune. As a student myself who really struggled with math growing up, I always appreciate when I see young adult books and middle grade books that have to do with math and have characters that have to use math and are also like strong at math. So that I feel like I would have really liked when I was more of the age to read this book. I read this book for middle grade March this year, I think. So this story is still pretty fresh in my mind. Question number 3 is science. What was the last science-related book you read? And this kind of barely counts, but I'm going to count it because one of the main characters in this book is really big into science. And so I'm going to use The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. Our main character, Natasha, is a girl who really holds to facts and science and what is concrete. She is not really wanting to waste her time with anything that is not right in front of her and that she can't see. So there's a little bit of talk about science, very, very loosely though. This is a young adult contemporary romance book. So the science in it is strictly just because the main character likes science, and that's sort of a defining characteristic of her. So I think we can use it for this question. Question number 4 is social studies. Share a book from your TBR that is either translated or has to do with the government. I think this is one of those categories that I need to expand my reading horizons a little bit. I don't really have any government related books directly. I don't really have any like nonfiction history books. And I should probably change that. But I'm going to use this one. It's called Jesus for Revolutionaries, An Introduction to Race, Social Justice, and Christianity by Robert Chow Romero. I actually have this book from when my husband worked for an organization called InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, and they would frequently send him books and materials that he could read for free. He didn't end up reading very many of them, but we have a lot of books from them. And at first I thought maybe this was self-published because it doesn't seem to have a publishing house on it, and it kind of looks like a self-pub, but I think it's actually published by Christian Ethnic Studies Press. But this book is for Christians who want to get more involved in social justice and more a part of the local governments around them, and also how to make decisions that are biblically led while also navigating government and laws. So it's basically Christianity for activists, and I would really like to read this book and see what it has to say about that topic. Question number 5 is Exploratories. Which category of extra non-core classes did you take the most of in high school? Well, this one, if you know me, you probably know the answer to this already, but music. I took music all through high school and middle school and elementary school. It was the only extracurricular activity that I had growing up, and I never did a sport or anything. Nothing that didn't have to do with music. I actually wanted to do sports, but my parents didn't really want me to, so I didn't actually join any sports. So never did anything on that end, but I took tons of music classes and then ended up being a music major in college myself. So I actually ended up specializing in my exploratory classes. Question number 6 is Common Core. Share a good pairing of a fiction with a nonfiction book. Last year in 2019, I reread the entire Madeleine L'Engle Time Quintet, and so that includes A Wrinkle in Time. Mine are out of order. Look at that. How did I do that? A Wrinkle in Time is the first book, and then A Wind in the Door, A Swiftly Tilting Planet, Many Waters, and An Acceptable Time. And so I reread these since childhood for the first time. And I also, in the same year, for Nonfiction November, picked up a nonfiction about Madeleine L'Engle's life called Becoming Madeleine. And this was written by actually her granddaughters, so I thought it was a really sweet tribute to her because it was written by family members as well. And this is actually written in a bit of a middle grade style, and it has pictures throughout as well of her and her life growing up. It actually stops around the time she got published, and then it doesn't really talk about her later life. So that's the only thing I didn't like about that book. I would have liked to have a more complete biography of her, but this biography is a very nice kind of head nod to her, especially because it's written by people who knew her directly. So I really enjoyed reading both of those together last year. Question number 7, research. What was the last topic that inspired you to seek out books so you could read up on it? For me, it's more like I'm always collecting books on topics that interest me. So I'm never really like gung-ho about one topic for a long time. I just kind of pick up books as I see them. So one of the things that I pick up whenever I see it is any kind of music history books, nonfiction or fiction for that matter. But one that I picked up from a used bookstore was Evening in the Palace of Reason by James R. Gaines. And the little subtitle at the top says, Bach meets Frederick the Great in the Age of Enlightenment. So I believe this is kind of about the transition from Baroque to Enlightenment and classical music. So I know there's some talk about music in here. There's some talk about Bach a little bit, and then Frederick the Great was actually a monarch who was also a musician himself. He's actually a flutist, so I have a personal interest in that too because I'm a flute player. I'm always interested to find books that talk about music throughout history and also the significance of what was happening at that time. If you've studied any kind of art, visual art or music, you definitely know how art is influenced by the times. Actually, it looks like this book is it gets pretty technical because there's actual like music studies in here. So I definitely will get to this eventually. We'll see what this one is like. Very curious about it. Question number 8 is, what subject area would you teach if you were a teacher? Hello, I'm a teacher. I am a public school music teacher. So I teach music. I teach elementary music right now. And this is a little bear that a student got me. I have lots of little teacher gifts floating around the house. This is my 5th year being a public school music teacher, and I love my job. I am really nervous about this year because we will be starting the year fully online here in Southern California. So that'll be an interesting experience. So specifically, I teach instrumental music. So I teach band, and I want to teach strings soon, but I haven't exactly been able to launch a string program with COVID-19. That's been a goal that's been having to be pushed back. So hopefully when everything goes back to normal, I can start teaching violin and cellos as well in my program, but I actually teach all the band instruments, so that's flute, clarinet, saxophone, trumpet, trombone, percussion, tuba. We teach all of that. So it's a lot of fun. I love working with the kids. It's honestly a job that I will probably do the rest of my life. I love teaching music. Question number 9 is, share a photo from your school days. I'm going to put a photo right here of my younger brother and I. I think maybe I'm 5, maybe 4 or 5. So I think I'm in kindergarten in this picture, and my brother is probably 3. I think so. I might be, maybe I'm a little older. I can't tell. I'm not exactly sure when this picture was, but there we are. We're adorable. My brother was so cute. He had like fire engine red hair, and he doesn't have red hair anymore. He has blonde hair like me, but I think it's hilarious that he had like fire engine red hair when he was little. And also these 90s bangs, they were the thing. You had to have the thick cut bangs that like stopped right here. And finally, question number 10 is to tag some fellow lifelong learners. I love how that question is phrased. I'm not entirely sure who's done this tag and who hasn't. I'll also link the original down below. This was created by Aldi Books, and so she's a public school teacher too. I think she's an elementary teacher. But I'm gonna tag Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space because Christy is definitely a lifelong learner. She's always reading something interesting, and she's always like so into classics and just very like philosophical work. So she's definitely a lifelong learner. I'm also going to tag Elizabeth Ann Reeds because I believe she is a piano teacher. So she is an instructor as well. And then finally, I will tag Working Man Reads because he is a new booktube friend that I have made recently, and I've been enjoying seeing him come onto the platform and make new content, so I'm going to be tagging him in this as well. Thanks for watching my video today. I hope you had fun going through these questions with me. Comment down below and tell me about a book that you read when you were in school. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more bookish content from me and keep up with my bookish journey. Keep reading great books, and until next time, bye-bye.